Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. And you know what? The next couple of weeks is going to be a lot of fun. There's just a lot of things happening right now, whether that be big game releases such as Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Guilty Gear Strive, and Final Fantasy Intergrade all releasing this week. But then you also have big events like Summer Game Fest and E3, so I mean, there's just a lot of things happening, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But there's still plenty of things to talk about right now, including another big day one release for Xbox Game Pass, because you know Xbox Game Pass just keeps delivering the goods. And then you also have an Xbox Series exclusive possibly heading over to the PlayStation 5. And this is a really good game for you PlayStation fans out there, so definitely stay tuned for that. With that said, though, I mean, like I said before, there's a lot of things happening right now, so let's just go ahead and jump right into the news, starting off with Rainbow Six Quarantine. Now, even though we haven't really seen much about Rainbow Six Quarantine as of yet, there's still a lot of excitement for this game as Rainbow Six Siege has really blown up in the last few years. I mean, Rainbow Six Siege is a very popular competitive shooter, and in my honest opinion, I just think it's one of the best competitive shooters ever, period. I mean, I really think it is that good. So yeah, I mean, fans want to see what Rainbow Six Quarantine is, and even though this is probably going to be taking the franchise in a different direction, it is supposed to be a PvE game rather than PvP, so it is going to be different than Siege, but still, we want to see what this game is. But like I said before, there's still a lot of things that we don't really know about this game, and that includes the name. Yeah, earlier this year, Ubisoft decided to change the name of Quarantine because, well, I mean, you know, a lot of people kind of associate the word quarantine with what happened in the last year or so, and, you know, they want to kind of separate themselves from that image. So Ubisoft decided to give Rainbow Six a placeholder name by the name of Parasite, but yes, that was just a placeholder, even though some people may not have realized that, and now they have officially confirmed the actual name today, which will be Rainbow Six Extraction. Now that seems like a fitting name based off the very limited amount of footage that we've seen, but about that, I mean, we should expect a big gameplay reveal at Ubisoft Forward this Saturday on June 12th. Yes, they are supposed to feature Rainbow Six Extraction at this Ubisoft Forward, and they're looking to release it sometime this year, so hopefully it's a pretty big reveal. We've waited a long time for this Rainbow Six Extraction reveal, but we're almost there, and I'm definitely excited. You know, like I said before, I think Rainbow Six Siege is one of the best competitive shooters of all time, and if we can also get a really good PvE Rainbow Six title, yeah, I'm all up for that, but let me know in the comments below on what you think about all this. Are you excited for Rainbow Six Extraction? And actually, speaking of the Summer Game Fest does kick off this Thursday on June 10th, and so far this sounds like an event that you're going to want to watch. Jeff Keighley did post an update on his Twitter where he revealed they have 30 plus games, a combination of new game reveals, and long-awaited updates. Yeah, that long-awaited updates part is definitely interesting because, you know, there's plenty of games out there that, you know, we want to see more on. You know, this includes games like Elden Ring. When are we ever going to see Elden Ring? And, you know, the reason I bring up Elden Ring is because there's been a rumor for a little while now that Summer Game Fest did get Elden Ring. And maybe that was true after all, so we're definitely going to have to keep an eye out on that one. But Jeff Keighley will also have some different guests, such as Jeff Goldblum and then Giancarlo Esposito, which is in Far Cry 6. So I wouldn't doubt it at all if we see, you know, some kind of update for Far Cry 6. Then you also have some musical performances, which is pretty typical for Jeff Keighley type of events. He does try to make his events like big spectacles, and, you know, I'm not really into that. I just want to see the games personally, and his events can be a little bloated in my opinion, but even then, I still think that he does have very well-made showcases, and this is something we're definitely going to need to keep an eye on because it sounds like it's going to be a pretty exciting event. And actually, one Summer Game Fest game did leak out online, being Wonderlands. Now, we talked about this last week, but there was a big 2K leak that surfaced online. And this leak included an XCOM and Marvel Heroes type of game, and then also a game by the name of Wonderlands, which is apparently a Borderlands spin-off title featuring Tiny Tina. Well, the thing about that is apparently it looks to be true after all. A new teaser website went online by the name of Be Chaotic Great, And it was teasing an announcement for Thursday, and apparently the source code did reference a game by the name of Wonderlands. So if you didn't believe that leak last week, this just gives more evidence that yes, it was true after all. Not only did Jason Schreier confirm it, but also VGC, the Video Game Chronicles, they corroborated on it as well. And yeah, this game does look legitimate after all. And for that matter, Jeff Keighley is also teasing that a Gearbox game will be at Summer Game Fest. So yeah, apparently there will be a Borderlands spinoff featuring Tiny Tina that will be announced this Thursday on June 10th. And I think the most exciting part about this leak is apparently whatever this game will be, it's going to have similar gameplay to the mainline Borderlands games. And that right there is very interesting. This is not going to be your typical spin-off from what it sounds like. So be very interested to see what this game will be like. Let's talk about the PlayStation 5 though, because it looks like an Xbox Series exclusive will be heading over to the PlayStation here soon, and that game would be The Medium. The Medium got an ESRB rating for the PlayStation 5, which is definitely interesting. Now, an ESRB rating doesn't absolutely mean a game will come to said platform, but oftentimes when you see a rating like this, an official announcement does oftentimes follow soon thereafter. So yeah, there's definitely a chance that The Medium will be heading over to the PS5 here soon. Now, I've said this before, but I was pretty sure that The Medium was a timed exclusive, and it does appear to be the case. We've seen Bloober Games do this in the past, where they do release their games first on the Xbox, and specifically with Xbox Game Pass, which gives them a lot of recognition. They did that with Blair Witch, and I kind of figured they were doing something similar with The Medium. And again, this is just such an excellent game. If you don't have the Xbox Series and maybe you have the PlayStation 5, definitely try this game out. No, it's not Resident Evil. There's not a ton of combat in this game, but it's still a very interesting game. The characters are well made. The story is excellent. Well-made villains. There's some fun puzzles along the way, and it's just a very atmospheric game. So, again, you absolutely need to try this game if you haven't gotten it already. So, big congrats to you PlayStation fans. And really, the PlayStation 5 right now is having a pretty good week. I mean, just this week, the PlayStation 5 will be getting new controllers, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, and then Guilty Gear Strive. Yeah, that's a pretty good week for PlayStation fans, and hopefully you'll get The Medium here soon, as it was rated on ESRB. Now, for you Xbox fans out there that might be thinking that, hey, you're losing an exclusive or something like that, don't view it that way. I think this is good for everybody. This is an excellent game, and the more people that can enjoy it, the better. But even more so, this game needs to be more successful, because if you want a sequel, that success can lead to a sequel. So, with it coming over to the PS5, that just increases the chance of a sequel for The Medium. So that's the way you should probably view this. Not only does more people get to enjoy this, but it also gives you the opportunity to get a possible sequel in the future if it has enough success. Moving on, let's go ahead and talk about Xbox Game Pass, because they might have gotten yet another big day one release from a third-party publisher, and that game would be Scarlet Nexus. Yeah, Scarlet Nexus is one of the most highly anticipated JRPGs that releases this year, and it comes out on June 25th. And yeah, according to rumors, this game might be a day one Xbox Game Pass title, which would be huge. Now, like I said, this one is just a rumor for right now, so we have to take this with a grain of salt, but this is coming from Jeff Grubb over on the Xbox Era podcast. Now, in the past, Jeff Grubb has proven to be a legitimate insider and has leaked out a lot of accurate information, so, we definitely just can't brush this to the side and just rule it out immediately. So we do need to keep that in mind. And this is what he had to say over on the Xbox Era podcast. I think that's a Game Pass Day 1 game is what I heard. The thing about Game Pass Day 1 deals, especially for anything that's relatively big, those deals get made very, very late. So there it is, and if he's correct, Scarlet Nexus will be probably announced at E3 for an Xbox Game Pass release. Of course, we do expect E3 to have some pretty major announcements in regards to Xbox Game Pass. This is their up-and-coming subscription service that's really gotten fans just absolutely ecstatic. So yeah, they're going to have some big announcements here. And yeah, Scarlet Nexus would be huge. And here's the thing, even though this is just a rumor for the time being, I think that there is some reasons that you could make a case that this is actually going to happen. One being that Scarlet Nexus has been closely associated with Xbox since its initial reveal. It was revealed at an Xbox showcase. Xbox has the marketing rights for Scarlet Nexus, and so much so it even got the demo a week early before other platforms. So yeah, Scarlet Nexus is closely associated with Xbox, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're trying to get this game into Xbox Game Pass day one. But it goes further than just that. As we've been seeing a lot here in the last year, Xbox has been going hard into Xbox Game Pass. They want these day one releases in Xbox Game Pass, and especially with Japanese titles. I mean, if you just look at the last 6 or so months, you have Dragon Quest XI, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Octopath Traveler, and Outriders, all releasing into Xbox Game Pass day one. And those are just Square Enix titles, but if you look even further, you also have some other big Japanese publishers on board with Xbox Game Pass. This includes Sega. I mean, somehow Xbox ended up getting all of the Yakuza games into Xbox Game Pass day one. Then you also have Capcom with games like Monster Hunter World and Resident Evil 7. And then you also have Namco Bandai, which is the publisher behind Scarlet Nexus, with games like Code Vein in Xbox Game Pass. So yeah, I think Xbox has been making it their mission to get these Japanese games into Xbox Game Pass. You know, Xbox fans for years have been wanting more Japanese games on Xbox, and this could be their way into that market. This has been very beneficial for both Xbox and Japanese publishers. Japanese publishers can put their games directly into Xbox Game Pass, which really gives them unbelievable recognition. I mean, if you look at something like Outriders was extremely successful, and Xbox Game Pass definitely played a part in that. I mean, when you put a game into Xbox Game Pass day one, that's going to get a lot of buzz. You know, you're going to have all these different news channels talk about a game, for one. And Xbox fans are going to be all over that. There's 22 plus million subscribers in Xbox Game Pass right now, and they absolutely will try these day one releases. So a day one release like this can really boost the recognition of a title. And I mean, there's already some excitement for a game like Scarlet Nexus. But if it gets announced as a day one release for Xbox Game Pass, yeah, you're all of a sudden going to see a lot more buzz around this title as fans really start to hype it up. So we'll see what happens with all this. Nothing is confirmed as of this moment, but I do think there is reasons that this is plausible at the very least. I guess we won't have to wait too long as E3 is right around the corner. I mean, this Sunday, we will finally get to see that big Xbox Bethesda E3 showcase, and I can tell you right now, I cannot wait to see what they have in store. Now, we do have one last Xbox-related topic to talk about, and that's with Forza Motorsport 8. Now, technically, it's just going to be Forza Motorsport now, as they're no longer going to be using those numbered releases, but the creative director did go into a discussion about revamping and deepening its physics and core gameplay, and yeah, there was some exciting stuff said here. So I think for fans of the series, it's been a long wait for the next Forza Motorsports game. You know, typically a new Forza game releases about every 2 years, but Forza Motorsport 7 released way back in 2017, so this is about the longest wait we've seen for a new Forza Motorsports game in a very long time. And with that, there is some expectations that this will have a pretty dramatic improvement over the last game. And well, the good news is that it sounds like that is exactly the case. So check this out. The Forza Motorsports creative director had this to say. So I've been trying to think about how to quantify this for everyone here without actually getting your hands on it. So to put the physics work into perspective for everyone, the changes we've made from Forza Motorsport 7 till now is more than the changes that we've made from Motorsport 4 through 7. So it's basically a huge generational leap coming to the game. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So we actually will see a massive jump from Forza 7 up to 8. I mean, they are saying that it has more changes done to it than what 4, 5, 6, and 7 had in its entirety. That is crazy to think about, but, you know, that's what you expect when it comes to Forza. I mean, truthfully, Forza Motorsport is a premier racing simulator. There is high expectations for these releases, and they've been the highest racing simulators for such a long time. So when you saw them have that 4-year gap between Forza 7 to this new Forza for the Xbox Series, yeah, there was expectations that this would be a pretty massive jump, and that looks exactly to be the case here. But right here, they're very specifically talking about just the physics and core gameplay. From that perspective, with all the changes that they have, they're saying it's going to be a generational leap. But I don't think it's just going to end there. Racing games typically are visual showcases. And whenever they do show this game, which is possibly going to be at TC3, I mean, I expect this game to look amazing. I mean, we've seen Flight Simulator and how good that game looks. And I think Forza Motorsport 8, or, just Forza Motorsport, is going to kind of give off that wow factor as well. I think this game is going to be stunning when we do see it. Hopefully it'll be at this year's E3, and yeah, again, E3 just keeps getting better and better. And let's go ahead and take a look at that poll of the day. Last week, there was a lot of rumors going around about the Switch Pro being revealed last week. It was just 2 weeks ago when Bloomberg reported that a Switch Pro reveal was going to be imminent and that it would be revealed before E3. And then right after that, a lot of insiders latched on saying that it would be revealed last week. And it seemed like Thursday was where most insiders was pegging that to be announced. Of course, that didn't happen, though. It was nowhere to be found. The Switch Pro just did not get announced last week. So with that said, there's now a lot of doubt on, is this Switch Pro even real? I mean, we keep hearing about all these Switch Pro rumors, but nothing ever actually seems to happen. So what's going on here? So I thought I would ask you all, do you think the Nintendo Switch Pro will be announced before E3? And 73% of you said no. And okay, you all do not seem optimistic about this one at all. And I really can't blame you all. I mean, we have been hearing about these rumors for years now, and nothing ever seems to happen from these. So I don't blame you all for being a little tired of these Switch Pro rumors and the lack of official announcements. We've heard all of this before. So again, I don't blame you all. With that said, though, I still do believe the Switch Pro exists. When it will be announced, I really don't know. I hope it gets announced this week or at E3, but I guess we'll see what happens with all this. We've been hearing a lot about this, so hopefully we get an announcement for that Switch Pro here sometime soon, if it does indeed exist. Again, I believe it exists, but yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. Anyways, though, that's it for this video, but if you liked the video, don't forget the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.